Alright, so this is a sponsored segment for Mythgard. They are a digital card game you can find on Steam. They have some things that are unique to their game, some things that are similar to Magic. Let's highlight some of their gameplay here today to start. Where's my constructed button? There it is. So the two big ways in which Mythgard differs from Magic is its resource system and how cards play to the board. So the resource system in Mythgard is you can turn any individual card in your deck into a resource as opposed to spending or putting actual resource cards in your deck. So you burn a card when playing Mythgard. So there's still need to spend cards as resources, but there's no resource variance in that you'll draw all lands or no lands. Hey, thank you for that very generous tip, Flight Forward. Put this towards an aristocrat build of your choice in Historic. I'd love to see Predator included. Yeah, I think that card is probably playable, so that sounds good. So, one of the things you do in Mythgard is your curve can be dictated by kind of how you burn your cards. So I 7-drop, for example, in my opening hand, you almost always burn your more expensive cards to start. So I'm going to take this one and burn it off. And you can see when I do this, it goes back into my deck. I don't lose it. I can redraw the burned cards later. I gained 1 total resource and 1 red color gem. This card cost me 1 resource and 1 red gem to play. So I'm going to play this out onto the board. And you can see it uses up both of those. Things have summoning sickness similar to Magic, so I can't attack this turn unless there's an extra ability. So we'll go ahead and pass back. The lane-based combat system in Mythgard is combat is similar to Magic, where I declare attack, or my things attack, but then their things can block, but only if they're in front of the things on my lane. So, for example, if my opponent had deployed this unit over here, they wouldn't be able to block my thing here. So this gets a bonus when it turns into when it hits my opponent. It has a breach mechanic, so it turns into a 3/2 and it hits my opponent for the first time. So I'm going to go ahead and burn my duplicate Panic Raider here. And this card has Rush, so I'm going to play out my Trapezes here, which lets me kill theirs. You can see when I mouse over, it tells me how combat's going to work here. Well, the way combat in this game works is your units attack individually as opposed to having one single attack step. Oh, I think the Mythgard overlay doesn't automatically come on. Let me check that. That was an issue last time we played too. Alright, the Mythgard overlay should be active now. If you refresh your stream, you'll be able to mouse over cards and stuff. No, I had to manually turn it on. That was on mine. You also have to refresh, but I had to turn it on. This is a 1/2 that gets 1/1 for each adjacent canine minion. So if there were things next to it, it would get bigger. The record, it came on for you without having to refresh. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe if I manually change it, it pushes it out to people. That's neat. That's good to know. The Runeterra and Magic overlays switch automatically on Twitch's end, but they don't update automatically for people watching at home. So, Panic Raider could let me draw some cards here, but this card has an ability where it gets bigger if it stays in play over the course of a couple turns. It starts with 2 energy, and it ticks down, and when it ticks down to 0, it turns into a 4/4, so I think I want to get this going. I'm going to go ahead and play this down over here. When you're playing a somewhat aggressive deck like we're playing, you want to make it more difficult for your opponent to block your units, so you tend to space your units out. So this way, you can see when I mouse over, it highlights the lanes that these care about for blockers, so they can't deploy one unit to block both of my things here. See, my opponent is playing a 2-color deck here. They've burned blue and green cards. If you ever miss the cards that your opponent burns, there's an in-client deck tracker here, so you can mouse over and see what they've burned so far. On a feature-to-feature basis, I think Runeterra is the most feature-complete digital card game that currently exists in the market. It has full in-client tournament mode, spectator. You can watch replays of matches that have been played. You can watch random replays of other players that have played on the ladder to check out what kind of decks some of the top players are playing in the game on the ladder. You can cube draft with your own custom cube. It has two V. I say Runeterra, I meant Mythgard. Yeah, we were just talking about Runeterra. Yeah, Mythgard. Mythgard is more. Runeterra is close, but it doesn't even hold a candle to Mythgard. This has fully in-client tournaments done. It has 2v2 multiplayer. It has single-player story-driven mode. This gives adjacent minions 1 attack and overrun. So this has rush and 4 attacks. I think I want to just eat this since it's synergizing with this. Shrinks that down. So they're at 14 already, and these things are getting bigger. This one's going to get bigger down on this side here. Rude. Yes, and it's all done unironically by an actual small indie company, which is refreshing. All right, so this is a power up that gives my Dorko 1 attack and focus, so it hits for 1 more when it hits through. And this thing, every time it hits my opponent, I get to draw a card and lose a life, and it gets a little smaller, which is nice. We're gonna burn the 7 ring ritual, so a little bit off of that. I think I'm gonna go ahead and deploy my Strogi pup here in the middle. Although I suppose this is a little, maybe this is a little loose because if they deploy an adjacent K9, this gets big enough to kill my thing. But it also like just stops them from hitting my life total for a turn while I pressure them on the left and the right. So if they want to make this bigger, they also would need to deploy something on either of these. That's super unfortunate. I don't know we're going to recover from that one. Our champion power here, or it's not this isn't tied to a particular champion. This is just something you pick during deck building. Just give something 1 extra attack. Okay, we're at 19 still, and they're at 7. So I can play this, and this can spend 3 resources to get +2/+2, so that might be enough to steal us a game over here. I have the Crimson Pact. Plus, we could use this to push extra damage next turn. I mean, we had lethal regardless, right? Yeah. Yeah. It's a piece of removal. Well, this thing was gonna level up into a 4, and this was a 3, and then I had an extra point over here as well. Or no, this was 2/2/2 with focus, right? So it was 3, 6, 7 because of my 1 extra here. Okay, I mean we're basically at parity now. So I could do this to kill that. We're at 9, they're at 7. This can trade, this can eat this here, and then Ignition kills this. Here, boy. Get him. That is a K9 synergy card. Draw your next K9 minion. Get him. All right, and we're dead. So we were at parity, and then they drew a cantrip. There is a dagger through the skull. We are definitely not confused by the defeat screen. It's waiting to requeue here. You see kind of above my head there. You can actually, one of the things that is nice, you can, like I said, feature complete client. It's looking for an opponent. I can like sit here and like, I can open the art gallery that's in client and like look at artworks, and then it tells me my match is ready and I can click it. So like you can edit decks or do anything else or look around while Yes, the floaty clouds are another part of the deck. So this is our path. You'll notice my opponent and I start with differing life totals. Your path dictates what that does. And then this also gives you an extra effect. One of the things that this game does well is they have what's called this pursuit effect. And the pursuit effect gives you a bonus explicitly when you are on the draw. So this Mantle of Authority card we didn't have last game, but we're on the draw this game, so we get this as a kind of a pick-me-up. Alright, so they deployed that there. I'm going to burn one of my 5 drops. I don't need 2 of those. And I think we're going to deploy Pup as well as this as a 2-1 down over here. Your units can move over 1 per turn, but even if they slide this way, it's still not far enough to block this because it won't be in any of these 3 threatening lanes here. Open the chat up for people that are still here. Yeah, getting a free 2-1 when you're on the draw is real nice. And it has a mechanic called Focus, so when it attacks the lane directly in front of it, you can see here it tells me it's going to do 3 damage to their face here. Asilis, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel this afternoon. So, as far as 2 drops go, I think I'm going to burn... Do I want to play the Terror of Kerr? Or the Fire Song Prodigy? I think I'm going to burn the Bull and play the Terror of Kerr here as a 3-2.
What will you kill?
This card, when we play it, it creates like a free shock in our hand, an ephemeral spell that deals 2 to something. So you'd use that to clear out a blocker next turn, potentially, with our 2+1 mana. This is a stealth minion. So stealth minions tend to have some type of effect when they hit the opponent's... When they breach, when they hit the opponent's board life total directly. We don't know what this is until it attacks us.
Fear me.
We have a hidden information thing. We're a little bit late for the Believer. Fire Song Prodigy here, and I'm gonna go ahead and ignition this and find out what it is. I think the stealth minion's usually a 2/3, if I recall correctly. When it breach, it deals 2 damage to anyone. So yeah, so putting in front of here prevents them from killing one of my other things potentially. Oh, they have the pipe. Right.
Create.
The pike was a power-up that gave this 1 extra attack.
Halt.
Stealth is an interesting keyword. Does it just hide the entire card? It's not any type of evasion. It's just you don't know what the card is when it comes down initially. So this gains an extra attack when it's attacking the thing directly in front of it. So if I do this here, I believe these will trade in combat, even though this is armored. And then I think I want to go ahead and play Daring Trapezes here.
Watch me fly!
And have these trade. We need Daring Ringmaster. Oh, I could have used my power to give this an extra attack, so I missed dealing a point of damage here, and I missed gaining a point of life. Need to plan my turns out better. I can spend 2 resources to give something 1 extra attack if we're going to have extra in a turn. Does their path do? They've had 3 things die. They get something back from their discard pile. Yeah, those traded. Give the top minion of your deck +2/+2 permanently. Okay, so... They're pretty close to dead, right? This has rush. This gives it +1 in focus. So this hits for 6. This hits for 8. They would be at 2 if I had played slightly better. I think I hold on to Magmatar because it can clear out blockers here. Maybe it was right to deploy this here so I could Magmatar in the middle and hit all 3 of these spots that would be trying to block these. Would have been correct.
All aboard!
You may move a minion in the opposite lane to any unoccupied lane. And again, here you can see they deployed this to block these 3 lanes. They deployed this to block these 3 lanes. But I have a minion with rush I can deploy down here on their 1 undefended lane. So you can never cover the entire board with just 2 units. You need at least 3 to be able to block every lane. Yeah, I actually did replace the filter already, Steve. So not directly in front of, but one of the 3 spaces, which means if you're on the very edges of the board, there's only 2 spaces that block there. So when you're playing a deck that's assuming an offensive role, you tend to want to put your units on the far lanes, so that way it's harder to block multiple of your things. Aggressive decks tend to deploy on lanes 1, 4, and 7, whereas decks that are taking a defensive role tend to deploy towards the middle so they can block more things. Perfect. We drew a 1-drop. We'll burn our 7-drop. And then here, like I said, because my deck's often the beatdown, at least to start, I want to take my units and spread them out here. So that way they can't deploy one thing to block both of my units here. No 2-drop in my hand is a little bit sad, but I can at least use my power next turn if we don't draw 1 or a 2, which is nice. So this is an artifact. Gains 1 life whenever your opponent creates a minion. So unlike in a game like Magic, where you have to... Unlike in a game like Magic, where you have to have specific narrow cards to destroy an artifact, artifacts in this game have a durability, and every time one of my minions hits their life total, their artifact also takes damage. So this is going to take 3 durability off of it. This is going to take 2 damage off of it. I'm going to burn my redundant Crimson Pact here, and we drew a 2-drop, so I'll put that in the middle. Someone asked if Mythgard is a new game. New-ish. I think their official release was about a year ago, if I recall. They have had 2 new expansions since then, so they have a core set and then 2 expansions in the game. I don't know the total number of cards offhand, though. So you can see here, exactly like I talked about a second ago, we're looking like we're the beatdown against an artifact control deck. So I've deployed my minions here, so my opponent can't deploy a single unit and block 2 of my things. And this one is available on mobile, on mobile, Android, and iOS, on Steam for Windows, OS X. I don't think they have an official Linux client, but you can actually play it in your browser too. Mythgard. One of the things that's nice about Mythgard that a lot of other games don't have, so like, if you're looking for like, well, why would I play Mythgard over something like Runeterra or, Hearthstone or one of the other all-digital card games, Mythgard's resource system allows for more deck building complexity and flexibility than most of those other games. Mythgard has 6 colors in it, and you can mix and match however many colors and whatever combination of colors you want while building your deck. It's very clearly a Magic clone. I completely disagree. It always makes me chuckle how people group things that don't. It's a card game players group things way differently, things that don't belong together all the time. So this game, like most modern games, borrows from a lot of different things. So the lane-based system is actually kind of unique to this game in general. The resource system is more similar to WoW TCG than Magic. And the turn structure where you're only playing on your turn is more similar to Hearthstone. So like I said, like it's, yeah, like calling this game a Magic clone is a lot like calling Magic a poker clone, or like calling Hearthstone a Magic clone, or like just saying there are card games so they're the same game. Magic is also oriented towards turns. I mean, every card game basically has turns. Magic, well, no, simulturn games. So you must be referring to Runeterra, where both players play every turn. Magic technically has both players playing every turn as well. You're not regaining all of your resources every turn, but players are technically still both playing every turn. Like I said, I don't really think it's a fair comparison to say this is a clone of anything or more like one than the other, because like most of these games that are doing something unique, they kind of blend interesting, good things from a variety of different games. Well, that was pretty good. Made 3 1-1s. Huh? I think I'm burning a Crimson Pact here. And I think I'm sliding this over so they can't attack this here. I'm playing Fire Song Prodigy, which will let me ignition this so I can attack past that here. And then I can play Sunken Acolyte here. Yes, when you burn a card, you get a total resource. So I have 4 total resources, and you get a gem of that color based on the circle here. So there's multicolored cards in the game too, and which color you get for burning a multicolored card is dictated by what color the circle is. And you can see here in the in-game deck tracker, I can scroll through here and see, like, I've burned 2 copies of Crimson Pact because there's 2 orange dots here. So green means unburned, orange means burned. Well, that's fucking savage. I'm getting blown out a good bit as I get back into this game, learning what answers we're supposed to be playing around. So like this deals 1 damage, then 2 to adjacent lanes. So like I position trying to get around this, but like if I know this is a card I'm playing around, I probably don't want to deploy my minions like I did there. Yeah, my pieces play out on a game board. This is clearly a chess clone. Panic Raider and see what we're doing. See what we want to do to start. Perfect, we drew a 2-drop, so I'll burn this. Put Fire Song Prodigy over here. It might have been right to Mantle of Authority this. Do you think we need a hero power and the path ability? The power here and the path kind of serve different roles. While they're both deck building considerations, the power here kind of serves as a way to use your resources when you run out of gas in the mid to late game, or a way to fill your curve out and kind of mitigate some curve variance. Whereas the paths tend to be more synergistic with what your deck is doing, for example. Does that do? They eventually, so it starts at 1, and then every turn it gets 1 more, and then eventually it gives them 2 more max mana. Yeah. When you're deck building, you choose what's called a power, which is a 2 to 3 resource effect that you can use once per turn. And then the path dictates your starting life total, as well as an extra bonus that you get while on the draw. So unlike a game like Hearthstone that has everybody gets the same bonus when they're on the draw, this game gives different bonuses depending on what your deck building decision was. It says armor, right? It does not actually, huh? So if I kill, I could do this and that'll die? Yeah, okay, so we'll do that. And then we'll have this kill there. And then I think I'm going to put the Mantle of Authority on this, because making this bigger means it gets to draw more. Another extra card, which is great. And then I think we're going to put Wings of Abaddon down over here and smack them. And then again here, I probably want to burn one more card. My deck has a couple of 7-drops in it. So trying to figure out when you want to stop burning cards and when you want to keep everything as spells is another important decision point when you're playing. Yeah, I feel like we're in an okay spot. They have a Forgeling and they have a removal spell, so like they can kill one thing and block another lane. But with the Magmatar here to deal 3 damage when it comes in, I agree. I think we're in a pretty good spot. Gick and Crazy Get a Tier, thanks for the follows. Welcome to the channel. Yep, so that lets them kill my 4-1. Is red the aggro-centric deck? Most of the colors in the game can assume different rules depending on how you build them. And then I think I want to just put Magmatar here, because it comes into play and deals 3 damage to all these lanes, so that'll kill this. And we can smack them with this, and we can deploy a pup down over here.
Let's feed.
Yep, so they have, waiting to get rid of some of our things. We got this guy over here. See, Magic Clone, Blue Brainstorm. Yeah, they're a smaller project, Caville. Like, I know we like unironically joke about big companies being small indie companies when they have an issue with their software, but like Mythgard is like a legit small team. I forget how many people they have exactly, but it's just a handful of them doing it all. Which, when you think about the size of their team, the number of features that the client has in and of itself is really impressive. Like, even down to, like, extra, like, quality of life things, like being able to, like, look at artwork inside the client. It's quite fantastic. The range of the IP in this game is really sweet. It's got, like, some cyberpunky stuff. How easy is it to get cards? So the economy is a blend of Arena and Hearthstone. You use booster packs to get cards, but you can open wild cards and you can craft cards from dust, and you can break down cards that you don't want into dust to craft others. As far as like the free-to-play system, it's probably about a middle ground between Runeterra and Arena. It's like it's not nearly as difficult as Arena, but it's definitely not quite as easy as Runeterra, unfortunately. This game was made by like 6 people. Is it that few? I thought they were low double digits at least. 6 people is like, yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, that's a good way to describe the IP. It's cyberpunk crossed with like different, like mythic type things. All right, no 1-drop here, unfortunately, is really sad. I might want an 8th and a 9th 1-drop in this deck. But we have a 2-drop for next turn, though. How complicated are the mechanics? The deck building can feel a little overwhelming at first, getting used to the path and a power on top of the cards that you're playing. The same advice I give for any new card game player to any game definitely applies to Mythgard, which is find an aggressive deck that seems enjoyable and start with that so you can primarily focus on what your cards do first while you fumble your way through the game and learn the card pool. And like I mentioned in the last game, so I played a bunch of Mythgard probably about a year and a half ago before their first expansion released. And I'm still fumbling through a little bit, relearning what answers like the control decks are playing and getting popped out on occasion because I'm not super familiar with it. That's just part of getting into any new card game.
Reporting.
Okay, and there's our 1-drop. But one of the things that's great about the resource system in this game is this 1-drop, I don't want it anymore, so we can just burn it and turn it into a resource, right? So just like, it's not just gone and useless. I can turn it into something useful down the line. This card's super annoying. Comes back to their hand at the end of every one of their turns. Huh? I guess I just trade these since that's gonna come back. I think I'm gonna go ahead and drop a Panic Raider in the middle. Burn my redundant 4-drop. Yeah, I played it both on my cell phone and my iPad. It plays well on both. Yeah, I changed my mind, Grindel. We got Magic the Gathering down of a couple matches in a row, and I was ready for a change of pace. We got like turn 4 Cleave twice in a row, and I was off it. I was ready to play something a bit more balanced.
Yes.
Choose a Rebel, Rough Rider, Variant Equinox, or Spitfire and add it to your hand. Oh, that's interesting. Like a 3/2 that draws you a card. Seems pretty good. Alright, so I've not burned a card as a resource yet for the turn. Probably don't need 2 of these. So I'm going to burn one of these 2-drops, and then I can deploy a 1-drop and a 2-drop over here.
Watch me fly!
Which is my preferred game. I don't know. I think, like I mentioned a second ago when we were talking about it, I think too often card game players make these really silly, strictly better, strictly worse comparisons about things. And Mythgard, Runeterra, Magic, they all do slightly different things better and worse than each other in different ways. Like, for example, while I do enjoy like the back and forth gameplay where like you're both always playing in a game like Magic or Runeterra on occasion, that type of gameplay pattern can also be kind of stressful where you like don't know if your trick's gonna work or if your thing's gonna happen. So there's something almost therapeutic in a way about playing a game where like on my turn I know the actions I'm going to take are actually gonna get to happen instead of having my hand smacked constantly and told no. Not be damaged or destroyed outside of combat. 4, 5. That's a big in. Burn this. And then I'm going to go ahead and play the tree. And then I'm going to play extract life to kill this. So I can hit them with this and turn it into a 3-2. And then these can trade here, which sounds great. Okay. We're a little bit behind at the moment. Opponents were a little bit ahead on board, but my opponent's got a lot more cards in hand than we do. This Panic Raider could potentially draw 2 cards, which could catch us back up. I would love to draw an Ichor Feast, though, which would let us draw some cards.
It's just a taste.
Take control of an enemy minion. Are they gonna sacrifice it or something here? Takes control till end of turn. There's some kind of 1-cost thing that lets them sacrifice my thing. I don't think this can attack this turn, right? I feel like I'm missing something. Does it return it to my hand? Until the end of their next turn? Oh, that's really gross. That's what I'm missing. It's not EOT. It is end of the next turn. All right, well, let's run away down over here. And then... let's get this going. This has life tap. So we gain life when it deals damage. So let's try and buffer our life total back up, which helps the race. I don't think I really want to burn anything here. I think all of these could be useful. Yeah, I agree. Like, I talked about that before. Runeterra is like super mentally taxing to play. Like at the end of like a 4 or 5 hour Runeterra stream, I am beat. And like it's less relaxing than a lot of other games. It's like has good gameplay, but like again, just like being able to know like, okay, my things are going to happen is like nice to have happen on occasion. Wait, what just happened? Wow, that's really gross. Gives a minion, cannot be returned to hand, to deck, or play. And so they built their own Mind Steal. Huh? Hold on. Okay, this thing at least lets me gain a bunch of life back here.
Do we have a mission?
Is this just permanent? Exchange control of 2 minions? Well, we got completely fucked this game, huh? That's super powerful. Yeah, that's like really good. Like the other mind control in this game costs 6. That was gross. All right, let's try something else. We played this red deck on Tuesday too. And someone, Dr. Greendale, if they're still in chat, sent me a couple of deck lists. I imported at least one of them. Did I? Maybe I'm a liar. Oh, I had someone in the Mythgard Discord send me stuff too. list does not look very good. Let's play this red green deck that Grindel sent over. Yeah, 211. Yeah, that's the right one. Oh, 3 Tree of Life. Ephemeral Defender, Immobile, Sunrise, you gain 1. Cute.
Deployed.
Deal 3 to a minion. If a minion would die this way, banish it instead. Interesting. So let's burn Wings here. Is it weird that the ladder having wins-loss record right there out in the viewing every time stresses me out? Nah, I don't think that's unreasonable. Ladder stress is a real thing. Laddering anxiety.
Enemy sighted.
Yeah, I actually think that that's true. I think that type of feeling is why that's something you often don't see in other games. I think that type of thing is pretty common. I think we're gonna do this and kill one of their things here. Kill this one. Having your actual record there for you to see doesn't let players lie to themselves and think that they're better than they are. And if you've ever met the average card game player, you know that ability to save your ego and blame variance and blame anything other than oops, I made a mistake is like that's a real thing, right? That permanently minus attack? Looks like it. Weird. This still attacks for 1 though, technically, right? Nope. JK. Deals 2 extra combat damage to minions. I'm gonna slide this over. Might as well. Slayer doesn't work with 0 attack. Okay, that's good to know. I unfortunately don't have anything to do with my other 2 resources here. Oh, I guess this is fragile because of the Turn of the Winters. This season, this is a path that I probably shouldn't have picked to play one of these decks. I haven't been back long enough. This thing rotates through 4 different modes, and one of them is a penalty. So 1 heals you, 1 heals your minions, 1 draws you a card, but the 4th one, Winter, gives your things fragile. Last time we played it, I always forget that was coming up and get savaged by it. So, Mythgard doesn't have variance in the number of resources you draw, but there is a little bit of variance in how your colors are. And this is what restricts you from just playing all of the colors in your deck. So, for example, this Magmatar is a powerful card, but it explicitly requires triple red. So if I hadn't drawn this red card to burn, if I had drawn another green card there, I wouldn't have been able to play this out here. Because I wouldn't have had the triple red gems here that I needed to. We did hit it, however, though, so we get to blast their board open, which is nice. That's like, what's the card game player mantra, Crazy Duck? When I win a game, it's because I'm good at it. When I lose a game, it's because I was unlucky.
Come in.
All right, so this has an activated ability, so it lets me draw a card and then put a card from my hand back into my deck. Probably don't need that one. We've got 2 7-drops here that are both pretty good, and we're getting up to that point. We're at 7 mana, we're still at 20 life, so I feel like we're probably in a pretty good spot here. We've made it to the mid game in our kind of mid-rangey deck. Return a minion from your boneyard to your hand. Would love to pick my Magmatar back up. And correct me if I'm wrong, the replay feature in Mythgard, you can watch anyone's replays from the ladder, right? It's not just your own replays that you have access to? Yeah, and you can export their... If you watch a replay of someone else's game and like their deck, you can export it directly from there, which is great. Friendly canine minions have adjacent canine minions get +1/+1. That's really strong. Big pup. Oh, we can lead a stray to shuffle this back in though, right? So that's nice. Yeah, you can watch live ladder matches, but if you're watching a live match, you can't see the cards in their hand, obviously. Okay, and then wings can kill this, which is great. And our deck has some bigger threats in it, so this one probably wants to burn all the way up to 10. The red deck we were playing earlier usually stops burning cards around like the 7 to 8 mana mark. This one likely wants to get all the way to 10. Opponent just had a big fat nothing. Thunk. Alright. Play draw 2, huh?
Risen from waters.
They're in yellow, so they could have something like Misanthropia for a pseudo sweeper. Gives everything Blight 3, but even that takes a little while. 3/8. Awaken, add 6 1/2 pack troopers to your hand. Excuse me? Wait, are they free? Reduce the cost of your soldier minions by 1. Oh, they take green gems. Oh, okay. So this card seems really bad in a 2-color deck, huh? This would be pretty absurd if they had a ton of green. So the resource system at work here. So this card is 0 mana, but it takes a gem.
Flame, take you.
Yeah, so that card's appropriately powerful, and it punishes you for being in 2 colors. That makes sense. Because if you're a mono green deck and you deploy that on turn 8, you'll have 5 other green gems, right? So you can play it and then deploy 5 things immediately. Yeah, that card's... I should look at K9s. Does anybody have a K9s deck? I'm gonna play this one a couple more times. Does anybody have a mono green K9s deck built? They want to paste spin me? Is that a thing? I feel like we should try and make it a thing if it's not. This path to +4 starting life. When your minions is killed, get an energy. Burn this and play my Acolyte. I want to let the dogs out, chat. When you burn a card, draw a card. Seems pretty powerful. 2/4. Is this like a 2-4 for 1? Am I missing something? Oh, it's a 2-4 because of the... Oh, the first minion you create gets +1/+1. Okay, I was like, man, that is an incredible stat line. Normally a 1/3. That makes way more sense. The path. Yeah, and again, the pursuit mechanic, we went first this game, and the pursuit on your path dictates what your bonus is when you're on the draw. So unlike other games like Hearthstone where you always get a coin when you're on the draw, what your on the draw bonuses differs in this game, depending on how your deck is constructed. All right, this is Defender, which means I have to attack this first, right? It's annoying. And our power this time is give something a move action as opposed to giving it an attack, so we can't punch through with that. We have Raid the Tombs here as a draw 2. And the White Tower Warden here draws cards when we burn cards. Once we get that down past 5, that'll let us get a little card advantage going, which is nice. This helps us hit all of our late drops. Oh, it's a Construct minion. That's... Yikes. Well, this plays a bunch of good cards. So I want to play the 8-drop that makes a bunch of dogs. What if I wanted to play bad cards that like made a bunch of dogs on 8? Maybe we'll build that in the second half of the stream. Okay, let's drop this over here. You know what? Screw this guy. I'm taking my gallows boy and I'm leaving. I ain't gonna fight your blood idol. This is a mobile, right? It is. It has to stay right there. I'm just walking away from your stupid blood idol. We're giving up these 3 lanes, chat. You can keep them. Oh, that's sick. So it gives something O2 Defender, and they can lose Defender. So they're gonna be able to take that off of that. We're gonna be able to what's it called? Take that over in a hot second, right? Or Troubly Traitorous Murmur, their Voltron unit here. One thing that's weird, I wonder if there's anybody else noticed this before. So when you see animation lag on stream in Mythgard, that's because I'm clicking off into Twitch chat to do something for moderators, or I'm checking something in OBS. Whenever my Mythgard doesn't have window focus, it gets random animation lag. It's weird. That's not something I've had in other applications before. Return a spell from your boneyard to your hand. That's pretty good. I don't have any spells in there right now, though. Put a minion on the bottom of its owner's deck, spending mana equal to 1 plus its mana cost. I would like your 2/7. It was very mean to me, and I would like to control it now. Yes, yeah, the art upside down is intentional to let you know which cards your opponent owns and which ones you don't. I actually like that feature. Gives you a quick visual perusal of the board, letting you know what, This thing's warded, too. This card seems really strong. Getting just drawing cards you burn stuff is good. The stat line is good. We're currently having a custody battle over the Blood Idol, chat. My opponent concurs with me that it's worth fighting over.
Yeah.
Gains +2 energy, and your spells cost 1 less until sundown. Stun another minion. You're branded with when you play a card, draw a card. Oh yeah, she's pretty good. Pretty good, chat.
Consequences.
You're at 11. I'm gonna play this here so we can kill their thing sitting here. And we might as well activate her. Gives her some extra energy. Yeah, if you're one of my Magic players hanging out, think of energy on cards similar as like Planeswalker loyalty in a way. They frequently have an ability that goes up, different ones that go down, and then an ultimate style. And this one also has an effect where she loses an energy whenever your opponent plays a spell. Trader's Murmur's not a big deal there because we've got Wings of Abaddon. I remember last time I was playing this card, did not give the spell you got back ephemeral, and it was real disgusting. That was a good change. Alright, so I'm gonna burn this. I'm gonna play the Oak. I'm gonna play the Wings. And then my Wings is gonna trade here, which triggers the Oak. And this goes here, and this goes here. And then honestly, I think I might stun this. So that way they can't make it lose Defender and gain life next turn. I don't know if there's any cards we can draw that I want to replace a, Letistry is actually pretty good. It would tuck their 2/7 back into their deck. That's actually probably better. They have enough cards to have different formats in this game. Like multiple constructed formats? I don't believe so, Eladox. They have 3 card sets currently. Usually you need to have a pretty deep card pool to have like rotating and non-rotating. All right, let's start with you and see what we get. It's not very useful. So, lead astray here. Yes, yeah, this is the one that has a 2v2 PvP mode. In terms of feature completeness, this one has more than any other card game out there. They actually have something I need to set up at some point and figure out, maybe next week or I'm going to be doing a few weeks of Mythgard stuff, but you can actually do cube drafts in client, and you can draft a table like with a custom list of cards. I might have to put that together and play with people on stream one of these weeks. Just like, basically think of every feature you've ever wanted in any other digital card game, and Mythgard basically has it done. It's really impressive. It's impressive in general, and it's doubly impressive when you consider the size of their team. This card is hella obnoxious. We are good. I'm glad we drew Ignition. I would love to murder this one. Oh no, oh no, oh no, I forgot to play my Tree of Life. Mistakes were made, chat. There is a puzzle client you can import board states to. Oh yeah, I forgot. I always forget about the there's so many things this client does to list. There's in-game puzzles like the what's the play style things you see in like websites and like books back when there were magic books that are really sweet. All right, so this Dorko gets bigger if it lives for a couple of turns, so getting this down on turn 2 is always great. Yeah, like chess puzzles, right? Yeah, I'm not a big chess player personally. So that's chess is a comparison is one that my head goes to. But yeah, they're definitely chess puzzles are a thing. Now that you mention it. Hold on to 7 Ring for now. Their deck seems like it's likely a deck that goes longer, so having this as gas in the tank for later could potentially be very good. Yeah, exactly. I remember comics like that in like the late 90s, early 2000s when I was doing Magic stuff as a kid. Terminal and Mugsky, if you're still here, thanks for the follows, by the way. I don't think I caught those two earlier. Yeah, if you're someone that's interested in learning Mythgard after checking it out here, the puzzles are actually a great way to do that. The puzzles basically kind of go through and teach you the ins and outs of a lot of the different mechanics in this game. Different puzzles tend to test your understanding of different mechanics that the game leverages. Give a minion 1-0 and Swift. The top minion in your deck gets 1-0 and Agile permanently. Oh, 1 and Agile permanently. Interesting. This is a 3 cost. I could probably lead astray this, right? Or will it not let me do that? Alright, sweet. It actually doesn't show me what it is. That's kind of funny. Yeah, 2020 felt like a decade for a myriad of reasons. I hadn't realized it had been so long since I'd poked into this one. I think it was the very end of 2019 was the last time I had really played. We're gonna Magmatar this. Oh, this has armor 2. That's real annoying. I can't even Magmatar it. They're almost out of cards here, though. This is agile as well. Maybe I'll draw 2. Let's draw 2. Deal 3. Not particularly good. I guess I'll use my power and slide this over. We can eventually get this over here and kill this because it has Slayer 2, so it'll attack for 4 and beat the armor. So when every time this hits me, it increases the cost of one of the cards in my hand by 2. Which is very annoying. Flag of Resistance, Slayer 1, and now a 3/3. Huh? Well, I think I'm just gonna do this.
Flame, take you.
And then I can slide this over. I think I'm gonna burn this. I have Magmatar to deal damage with 2, and I want to burn a card this turn so we get up to 7 Ring Ritual down the line. This has Agile while it's in this this Sea Haven, so they can hit me here. Agile is basically a form of evasion, lets them attack past. The minion on the opposite lane has its strength locked to 0. Okay, but that's really bad against my champion power, right? So I get to do... It's a lurker. No, it's not. Okay, so I get to do this and slide this over, and now it's no longer directly opposite. So this puts it to 4, and then this can finish it. Cool. I have 3 resources left. This thing gets bigger the longer it's in place. Let's get this going, I think. So this is like poking me a little bit and annoying my hand, but like we're very far ahead on board. And this thing from our pursuit giving us this free tree to start with. There's been a bunch of life so far. This game, it's like gained us 7 or 8 points basically. Kind of sick. So he spent 3 on a stealth unit here. +1/+1 and warded. Huh. So warded means it can't take damage outside of combat. Let's start with Read the Tombs and see what we get. I'm gonna burn this Gallows Boy for a 3rd green gem. Play this out here. Hey, Arcane. Thanks for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. Don't really want to attack this into either of these, I don't think. I guess I could attack into here, and then we could finish it with this, probably. Oh no, I can't finish it because it's warded. Derp. Right. That's why I wasn't gonna do that. All right. Well, we're still okay. They've got, this doesn't take retaliatory damage when attacking, so it's going to get to eat this, then we'll take 3 and increase something else. We still got like all these Dorkos over here, and this is about to turn into a 4/4. Ooh, that's true. this has to hit the tree. I always forget that defender means more than can't attack. The fact that it means it has to be attacked by attackers also trips me up. Yeah, it would kind of be nice. Like, there's rotating icons down here. I wonder if it would clutter the UI too much if they put status effect icons along the top and bottom of each card, as opposed to having the rotating circle here.
Stay close.
There's a good chance that ends up cluttering things too much. That's why they haven't done it. Oh no, I messed up. Oh, that's such a punt. So, what I messed up here was I could have killed this, but this gave this defender, and now this has to attack this, which I don't want to. Yikes. Mistakes were made. So my sequencing there was bad. I could have traded here and then played this and given this defender. But defender, like we just talked about, once this has defender, it has to be attacked first. And now this gets to eat my 2/2 because this doesn't take retaliatory damage while attacking. Whereas they would have traded last turn. Hey, thanks for the follow, Dark Matter. Good afternoon. Alright, sweet. We're mid-ranging, chat. We're mid-ranging. Just a bunch of good green and red cards all queued up together. I had to double check. I wanted to like double check that. I was like, we are playing the green red deck, right? It's like this looks like a hand from the mono red deck we were playing a second ago. I'm gonna burn the redundant Magmatar and put the Sunken Acolyte out over here. And then we have a couple decisions how we can sequence on turn 2. We can either get the Believer down, or we can go Acolyte plus Ignition to clear a blocker in front of this if they have a blocker. And then Flag of Resistance, yeah. So now I want to burn another red card. So we'll burn this one, I think. And we'll go Ignition, this, hit you so I can transform this. Play this out over here. Give something fragile. Bound Believer. I'm deploying this over here. This is gonna get to eat my 2/1 here, unfortunately. I don't have I guess I could play next turn. This is an activated ability. Might be worth spending resources to give this +2/+2, depending on what they do. hold on to this for now. If we draw running green cards, this card's very powerful. So I'm going to go ahead and give this +2/+2, and then we can eat this, and then hit them here. So if this survives to next turn, it'll be a 6/6, so that's 2/2, and then it'll be a base 4/4.
Come here.
Oh, right, that's what the hook card does. Got it, sure. I think that's still worthwhile. We still basically kind of traded 2 for 1. I guess this traded for this over here. This card, the Tiger Hook Swords, this card seems really good. Like, decent stat line, and Tiger Hook's a good control utility. It's probably really good with that purple card that doesn't take retaliatory damage on attacking. I feel like I should spend some more time looking at the purple cards. Last time I was really playing, purple was kind of the joke color. It wasn't super competitive, and it looks like they've gotten a lot of new tools and rebalanced a few things. Play the Oak out over here, I think. Hang on to my Magmatar for now. Hey, look. There's another green card for my Trader's Murmur. Look at the enemy's hand and choose a card. It becomes unburnable, ephemeral, and its mana cost increases by 3. Yep. Yep! Could have seen that one coming.
Be careful what you find.
Banish 3 cards from the top of the deck or 3 cards from bottom. You're just like mills me. Weird. So now, I think they're low enough and out of resource at this point that we Magmatar here to get rid of this. Then we smack them for 3. I'm like, they're down to 11 now. And this draw is nice. It means that we'll be able to pick the Oak back up from the bin, so long as we draw a card that we can burn next turn. Remember, you can't burn the same card twice, so if we draw one of the few cards we've already burned into our deck, we won't be able to do this next turn. A pretty good chance we'll get to stack next turn. Opponent discards a card at random, gets teleport and move action. What does this do? If you have fewer minions than your opponent, they move the top 2 cards of their deck to their boneyard. I'm just playing like this weird like mill strategy. Doesn't seem particularly good. Once per turn before combat, move to a friendly unenchanted lane being attacked. Minions attacking through this lane get fragile ephemeral until sundown. I think we just lead this astray, right? No reason to play the stag. He's into over orange purple. Sweet. Does it have is it playing the 3-drop that draws cards when your stuff dies? 'Cause that card's sweet. Insurance Broker, yeah, that's the one. That was one of my favorite cards last time I was playing. Does that card still have the same text box? Approximately. Remember that being one of my favorite pieces of mid-range card advantage last time I was playing? It got buffed! That's exciting. Same text box, better stats. You love to see it. Alright, we're gonna remember to play our Tree of Life on 1 this time, chat. It does play Insurance Broker. Sweet. Bold statement. Listen. I'd say I never make the same mistake twice, but there's plenty of video proof that that's a lie. So opponent here is playing Rainbow's End, which at the end of their turn, at the top card of their deck is an enchantment. They get to draw it, so they're playing some type of enchantment-focused deck, it would seem. As it would seem. I think after this game, I want to build mono green with the K9 ship. So we can let the dogs out. I feel like I would be remiss now knowing that we can let the dogs out and not doing it at least once or twice. I'd like to kill that one with fire. And get rid of the Giga. I'm going to play another Brainbound Believer down over here this time. The orange-purple deck has a good bit of mythics, and I have almost a complete core set collection, and I think I have enough dust. Well, that's brutal. I think I have enough dust for 4 or 5 more after my latest buy-in. I have like 50 or 60% of the highest rarity cards from the 2 new expansions. And then the ability to craft a few more of them. It's nice. It's nice at least that you don't have to like craft 4 of them as a playset like in Magic. Yeah, I agree, Assassin. Okay, so that's nice because it lets me hit the last color for this. And actually, this freebie works really well with Wings of Abaddon, right? So I get to play this here, and then Wings can pay 1 to eat this to become invulnerable. And then Wings will kill this, and then this smacks their face. And then next turn, we can drop the White Tower Warden and start drawing cards when we burn stuff, which seems fantastic. Opponent's still got a lot of cards in hand. We're ahead on board, though. And this is kind of like a card on board, right? When this dies, we Divination and then draw a card. One of the other things that's nice about the Mythics being one-ofs is that, like, the fact that the Mythics are one-ofs means that if you have to budget a deck because you can't afford to build it all right away, like, the amount of cards you're budgeting is much less. You're not, like, losing a playset of a card, you're losing 1 copy of a card. So this is actually great for us. So I get to slide to the left here. And then I get to burn this and drop my Magma Char to kill both of these in the middle. Just
take you.
every time that card gets to kill more than one thing, it's just like such a savage blowout. Just like, and get ya. I have not. I played the big red deck for a couple of games to start, and then we've been playing this green red mid range. We're gonna build mono green dog carrier here in a second. That card seems like gasoline. I think I'll just build like mono green good stuff. I've got a lot of the green mythics. Mono green wallet warrior. Does anybody know, is the dog carrier a mythic or is it a rare? Do I get one of them or do I get two of them? Feels like that card could be, it's probably, oh, it's only a rare? That's fantastic.
Dangerous sands.
Excuse me? What was this machine gun nonsense? Awaken, deal 2 damage to another minion. Immune to damage from fragile minions. 6/6. Alright. So lane enchantments give the unit in that lane a bonus. So I'm going to want to avoid positioning things near this lane here moving forward because anything they put here is going to be 2/2. So I'm going to put my Warden in towards the middle here. And then let's burn this Lead Astray and draw a card with this, then drop the Gallows Boy. I need to take some time over the weekend and update the rain root control deck I used to play. That deck wasn't very good, but it was funny. Got like into some very silly board states at the end. Alright, this is warded, so it doesn't take damage outside of combat. I don't think their colors usually have too many rush units. They got 3 cards here. We're in a pretty good spot. Like, we've got the Whitewater Warden in play, and we've got a Bomb 7-drop and a Draw 2. So this says whenever they deploy a unit here, they get 2 2/2s next to it. What's this do? It's +1/+1 whenever an enemy minion's created. Sure. Ooh, that can pick my Oak back up. This banishes the bottom 2 cards, right? Okay, so let's start by burning Gallows Boy and see what we draw. I feel like I'd like to slide this over, get out of the way of this. I'm gonna drop my Stag. Do I even want to drop my Stag over here? I kind of don't, right? I actually kind of just want to, like, drop him over here and just, like, crunch through. Like, killing all of these things here just lets them deploy another unit and get value out of this enchantment again. And I'm at 22. I think we actually drop the Stag here. Let me go ahead and get to grab our Oak back up. We get to pass back here. Gus, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel this afternoon. And the next turn, we can Oak and Wings. Oak gives us a little bit of extra reach as well. He also does 1 damage whenever things dies. There is, yeah. If you're in the client and you're looking at the replay system, you can copy any deck list from replays of matches that have finished, and you can watch them play out in client and their past matches as well. So you can like see how a deck plays there before actually importing the deck. Must be nice. Yeah, just like the number of features and stuff like that that you could have when you like have a company full of people that just like really understand how software works. Something's gonna get -2 attack and fragile 2 before attacking. So I assume that's this, but that's still fine. So they can crack me in the face for 8, but still winning this race by a lot. Okay, so are they dead? This does 6. This does 4. This does 4. Yeah, that's lethal. Got him. This card deck seems pretty good on most of the games we played with it. I can validate my feelings with actual data by going to look. And on the deck, we went 5-0 with that deck. See? I don't have to anecdotally try and remember what happened and just feel good about it. I can look and see. Like, this is a deck I've played for a long time. I guess this was the deck we were playing last time. So some of these, like, you know, you can see if I've played them and what the record is. Well, I deleted my old Rain Rune deck and rebuilt it, so there's not a record there. 100% win rate can't be. All right, let's build a mono green deck, huh? Let's find us some bombs. Oh, yeah, there it is. There it is. There's the dog carrier, chat. Awaken. Get 6 1/2 pack troopers. And this gets +1/+1 for each adjacent canine. And it makes them free in terms of resource, but you still need gems. So if you play this on turn 8 in a mono green deck, you get to play out 5 of these pack troopers immediately to the board, and they'll all be adjacent to each other, so they'll all be 3/4s. This game is a market like Hexy's your players. It does not. It has a mix of Hearthstone and Magic system where you buy packs and you can dust cards and craft cards. There's also wild cards involved. All right, what other fatty booms we want? This actually mono green seems like it has a ton of tools. And like, this is how they color restrict things. They make it threshold intensive, but if we're staying mono green, we can just play anything we want, right? You can dust wild cards. I forgot that I should dust a bunch of my lower rarity wild cards. I have most of the cards from those at this point. All combat dealt to your other minions is reduced to 1. I don't actually know that. Yeah, I might want this too. I don't know. We'll see what the curve looks like. I don't actually know that I want to be a dedicated canine deck. I think we can just like play this as a top end bomb and like a mono green mid range control. So the rarity is in the corner or the dots. So the rarity of a card dictates how many copies you can play. So the most rare is blue. You can only have 1 copy of them in your deck. Rare is 2. Uncommon is 3. And common is 4. I might want that. All right. Let's look at things that are cheaper, huh? To fill the curve in. What are cards we want to play? Oh, this card's an 0/1 now. The Cobalt used to be a 1/1, chat. It used to ramp you and trade with something. Is this card playable as an 0/1? It might be. I kind of wouldn't mind the ramp. We have some fatty booms. Born Again's just a good annoying card. It comes back to your hand at the end of every turn. This gives a minion -2 and a mobile, and then I can bounce something. I think that's probably good. Gallows Boys, a good one. Is there a quick way to add these to the right without dragging them over like this? Is there a hotkey or something I'm missing? Right click. Okay. Perfect. See, I knew that like that has to be a hotkey I'm missing. Let Us Stray is pretty good. So this is a good example of a payoff for staying in one color. So is this an activated ability each turn? Am I understanding that right? I can spend 2 green gems to give a minion -2 attack. Is that how this works? Yeah, so this doesn't take actual resources, but it takes thresholds from the resources that you've made. And this one similarly can spend thresholds to get agile and rush. So this can come into play the turn you play it and smack something. Oh, Avenging Alpha is a pretty reasonable card. If one of your things dies, it's good with things like Born Again too. Comes into play as a 6/6. This card's a bunch of text box, gets 2 energy when attacking. At 3 energy, gets +2/+2 and healed. At the end of turn, if your bonus with at least 2 minions above it, return it to your hand and you lose 3 life. Yeah, that's sweet. Oh yeah, White Tower Warden was really good in the other one. Okay, now we're at the expensive cards. Okay, so on first pass, I found like 37 cards I want to play, it looks like. My curve look like? My curve's actually not embarrassing, huh? I've got 8 6+s, but we're at 12 2s, 9s, 9 3s, a couple of 4s, a couple of 5s. Maybe I just want a couple of 4s and 5s to round things out. Calculus is super good. What does that do? Banish a minion and all other minions in play that have the same amount of health. Oh, that's neat. I'm into that. Fills the curve like I'm looking for too. Create a 2/2 imp with agile and unoccupied friendly lane. Enemy minions attacking this must first take 2 damage. Man, that artwork is something. It is. That card seems playable. Do we like, is Ravenous She better or is Volko Heavy better? This is just like a pretty good stat line, just like 5/5 armor 1 overrun. I think I could see that one. It probably fits into our curve okay. Might want a couple more 4s. What's going on, Beansy? Yeah, I decided we got magicked out of a couple of games. Decided I wanted to try something, play a little bit of something else, and good was good. Mythgard is good. If I'm playing Lead Astray, do I also need all of these? Probably not. Probably don't need all these detains either. Let's get rid of 2 of those and find another 4 mana card to curve fill, huh? It could just be Gamma Yun. Getting to Divination 2 every turn's pretty good, and Agile lets you push damage on occasion. I think I like that. We have another Agile unit in this as well. This actually probably isn't very good. I don't have a ton of spells in my deck. I'm gonna cut that and put the extra 4-drop in. What's our curve look like now? Yeah, that looks beautiful. Look at that. Love it. Maybe a little bit light on 2-drop units. Our 2-drop slot's a little deceiving because it's got Detained and Raid the Tombs in it. Maybe I don't need this Detained at all, and I want like one other 2-drop here. It's like 2/2 Deadly. That's pretty good. Oh, I wanted to read that card. Turn a non-construct minion from your graveyard, from your boneyard to... Huh. I guess she has to survive and she has to get 3. And she has to get 3 energy. Alright, let's pick a path and a power, huh? What's like the go-to mid-range power? Is it still just Turn of the Seasons? It probably is, right? It draws a card every 4th turn. Feel like Alliance Command Center might not be terrible. I've enjoyed Alliance Command Centers and others. Having a random 2/1 or a unit boost has been. It's pretty reasonable. Disc is great with Born Again. Yeah, it's good with like exactly Born Again, but that's only 2 cards in my deck. And the way my curve looks. Yeah, how many units do we have? That's a good question. I think we have a good number. Yeah, right. We're at 29 units. Yeah, Journey could be okay. This puts the bottom minion of your Boneyard into your hand. Yeah, when in doubt, I'm gonna pick Turn of the Seasons when in doubt. I think like Turn of the Seasons and Infuse are pretty conservative. These work in most things. That. Fancy. Oh, I like that. Let's do that. Save it. Let's do it. That's it. We've got the carrier. Just like we drew it up. I'm gonna burn a Raid the Tombs here. Definitely don't need 2 of those to start. Missing a 2-drop here. It's possible that 7 2-drops isn't enough without any 1-drops in my deck. Yeah, I might have too much beef at the top end. I could have, maybe instead of Infuse, I could pick the heal power. So that way I could fill turn 2 on curve with that, potentially. So if I play, this is until sunrise, until like the start of my turn. So if I play this here, I can spend the gems to shrink this. It's pretty good. Yeah, I looked at Cobalt. Is that card still good even without its point of power? I was like, last time I played that card had a point of power. Whenever your opponent draws or discards a card, they take a damage. They're chaining us up, chat. So let's shrink this, and then let's eat it. I'm gonna do this, and then drop Gallows Boy. Over here. Unfortunately, can't use these. Yeah, if I'd have had the healing power, we would have gotten to use it twice already. Well, this says Swift, so it gets to move for free. So this is gonna get to eat this. Yeah, maybe I should have shrunk. I've decided I've made some terrible mistakes, and I'm going to make a couple of changes before we actually play a game. I'm gonna take a do-over. I wanted to change this to the healing one. On the mend. Someone said they're using Bull Shoy. Sunrise 1, 3, sacrifice this, gain 2 max mana. So you play this on turn 2. And then it has to survive until turn 4. Yeah, that seems fine. But I'd rather have that than units. I guess this fills the graveyard up nicely too for Read the Tombs. So that means this ramps you. So if it happens on 4, you go up 2 on 4, which means you end up at 6. So you can play these out ahead of curve. Alright, let's do that. Let's try the ramp idiot. More things to do on 2. All right, no ramp idiot on 2 here, but we've got Gallows Boy, which is nice. The board cracks when I click on it. That's great. Are they playing an aggro reanimator deck? Born Again is a lovely pickup here. Throw that out right there in the way, and this comes back to our hand after it trades.
is lost.
Yep, so their power let them discard... Their power let them discard the bomb, and then this puts it back into play. But I think we can interact with that, right? So we can burn another Raid the Tombs again, and then we can shuffle this back into their deck. They don't get its effect. Just bounce right on out. Our Born Again pops back up to our hand tier. I'm gonna play this here. I'm expecting them to pump this next turn, potentially. Play this out over here, spread our defense out a bit. So they got to kill our tree that's healing, but this has Slayer 2, so it's gonna get to kill this even if they make it a 4/4. If they find a way to save this from this, I'll probably Anna heal this back into their deck, so that way it doesn't threaten to change up on us. And if we do this, we can burn a card and then draw 2 here. What does the Forge keyword mean? The Forge keyword means the card gets a bonus if you've burned another copy of that card. That's a good one. So this lets us spend our gems to shrink this. So then this eats this. They are going to get to trade these here, unfortunately. Oh, but I have a Traitorous Murmur for their thing that's going to come back next turn. So that's nice. Oh, and actually... I could do this so they don't even kill my thing too, right? Like shrink that. They can still attack in and mine will kill theirs back because it has Slayer. But they'll get this Dorko, the White Tower Warden, and then we'll be able to murmur it. And we're working our way up to the doggos here. The Helicaria. This card seems really good too. Was this card 3 green gems at one point to give something minus attack? Oh, I could have used that ability on my creature. That's cute. Now I think the fact that I have Traitorous Murmur means that that's fine. Used to be triple green for -3. Okay, yeah, that's a lot more prohibitive. I mean, well, if you're not going to do anything with this, I guess we just tell it to bounce again, right? Just get out of here. Gives me 2 cards in here to raid the tombs again with later. Yeah, being able to use the shrink effect on curve is huge. Oh, did you make this? I think you misunderstood. I made this. Oh, you know what? I should change my what's it called? They're playing a green deck. Is it missions? Right. That's one thing I wish they would change. Like, when there's prizes in here, I dislike that you have to click claim manually. I always forget to go in here and do that. I basically, like, keep playing and end up spewing. Like, I had to click claim here and get to the next one. That's not even whale problems, it's just, like, min-maxing, like clicking around to the client optimization problems. Like I wish when it completed quests, it would just like complete the quest and go to the next one without me having to open this mission screen. It would be ideal, I think. Yeah, an auto claim option, the settings, big agree. And like maybe you make it a setting. Assassin says they like doing it, so I believe them that they do, but I personally wish it would just like grab it for me automatically. Oh, we have our Bolshoi on 2, chat. Get our tree of life down. Ah, the old Bolshoi mirror match. So again, how this card works is an artifact that goes over here. It starts with an energy, and then at the start of each turn, it gains an energy, and then when it has 3 energy, you can sacrifice it to ramp 2 mana. I don't think I want the second Bolshoi. I'll probably burn this one. When an enemy needs attacks on your unoccupied lanes, it must first take 2 damage, and this artifact loses 2 durability. Sure. It's fine. Born Again. Born Again is made to take damage, chat. Oh, and that's perfect, actually. So, Born Again is going to eat it next turn, and that'll make our Avenging Alpha. I guess I might not treat here. Oh, Gallows Boy ignores the artifact because it's warded. That's sick, too. So this gains an energy when they cast a spell, and then it can spend 4 energy to draw a card. It starts on 2 energy. See, the Avenging Alpha artwork changes to signify that he saw something die. Seems pretty bad. All of their bots are going to have varying life totals. Can use that here. So we're up to 6 total resources, you can see now. So again, my resources and my gems are now different. So I have 4 total green gems, but I have 6 total resources. Similarly, my opponent has 6 resources and only 4 gems because they had a ramp card as well.
Use wisely.
I think I'm just gonna like double Gallows Boy here. Because these can power through the last 2 points on this without taking damage. And we'll keep the lead astray, so if they slide this down, we can lead astray it. So that way it's not blocking either of these. Yeah, burning the Thunderclap seems good. So when this dies, it heals durability on their stuff, which feels bad. So it's going to heal this one. We're also going to pull some extra points off of it. Oh! Oh, could I have healed that to have it live? I didn't have to lose that there, right? That was bad. It's a pretty big throw. I'd have a 6-attack unit in play still. So we're really hoping to find our draw twos at this point. Got 4 of those in our deck, or any of our bombs. Are you kidding me? That's brutal. Pretty big blowout.
Soldier down.
So this has divination on an activated ability. So we'll get to go ahead and start peeking at the top 2 cards of our deck. Ugh. Heavy's like a medium draw. Again, we're really looking for our bombs and our draw twos at this point. Kind of going to overdrive. We're at 8 mana, so if we find like the K9 ship, we could flood the board. That's super unfortunate. And then they hit their cards and let them draw more cards here. If I still had my other 6-attack thing, we might be in an okay spot here, but I think we're probably dead as is. He just burned a draw 2. Get to the chopper! Okay, so this is a 6/6. If we lead this astray, and then play the heavy over here.
Covering fire.
And then this has defender, so this has to attack this, right? They can't just kill my divination unit here. Okay, good. So I understand that part. All right, so you're saying there's a chance, huh? The Sea Witch might actually let us. Is the Sea Witch better than the Stag because of her minus ability here? That's gotta be crazy, right? Sea Witch seems really good. Oh, it's Forge. It reduces them. Oh, I need to read my cards. That's awkward. Well, we'll definitely be able to be resource efficient next turn. Reading is busted, chat. We like built this deck thinking about this card. I didn't even read it. We just had our opponent play it, and it did this thing when my opponent did. I just assumed that's what it always did. So I can trade this here. There's a witch on top of our deck. Oh no, that's so rude. We've been led astray.
Deploy! 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 Deploy!
And we've got a bunch of 3/4s and 2/3s, chat.
Deploy!
We are deployed. Sebas, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel this afternoon. I mean, like, even without them being 0 mana, that was still, like, really good. Imagine if they had had the lead astray, we would have been able to make more of them. No, I want to draw Raid the Tomb's opponent. You're not supposed to draw your draw 2. I want to draw my draw 2. I haven't played any of those, right? There's 4 Raid the Tombs in my deck. I didn't burn any either, just, like, haven't drawn any. Barutal. We have 2 Helicarriers in our deck still, though, so that's nice. Spells have their mana cost reduced by 2. It's +2/+2 when you cast a spell. We're gonna shrink this bad Mamma Jamma way down next turn. Oh yeah. You love to see it, chat. To the tombs! To the tombs! Stun another minion until the next turn. Yeah. Alright. Mono green, chat. The mono green machine.
There are always consequences.
Oh, lead astray witch is a combo. I didn't even think about that. That's just good deck building, chat. Clearly, we built our deck with this powerful synergy in mind. Oh no! They're blasting through my boys, chat. They're blasting through my boys. What did my dogs ever do to you? Look at the way they massacred our boys. Everything went so horribly wrong. Obviously, we should have shrunk and shuffled last turn. Getting a little out of hand now. Oh, and they hit an artifact, so they got a Forge Link now. Yikes. I need to draw a card I can burn now to get this. No, I can't, right? I need to shrink it 4 times. That costs 8 gems. 6, 7, yeah. Yikes. This is Lurker, right? Ooh, let the dogs out. Hoo, 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 hoo. Ready to let the dogs out yet? Oh, our board is fragile. Are about to just get fucked by this card, huh? We're just about to get completely ranched by Forked Lightning here. This card is super strong. I don't know that helicarrier is going to be able to get us across the finish line here. I made a number of small mistakes this game that ended up costing us. The biggest of which was definitely not putting the dragon back into their deck the turn we could have. Alright, we're gonna get OTK'd. We're gonna get OTK'd, got it. So they played a card that lets their thing attack twice. So if I would have used my witch to shrink their thing and then let astray it that first turn and put it back into their deck, I think we probably win this pretty handily. Like, especially with the other helicarrier drawn, we would have been really far ahead even through all their forked lightnings and stuff. That carrier card seems really strong. Like, that puts a lot of power into play, and if they don't answer it right away, it makes 2 more every single turn. We'll probably start with this again next week when we come back to some Mythgard. At any rate, thanks everybody for hanging out through the end. I'll be back tomorrow with some Magic the Gathering, and then we're going to finish up God of War. I think we're pretty close to the end of the story in that, so 2 to 3 hours. We'll probably finish up tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to be doing Mythgard on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons the next 3 weeks at a minimum. So thanks everybody for hanging out. Thank you, Grindel, for the deck lists, and Wholesome as well sent a couple of deck lists over. We'll be poking at a few different things over the course of the next 2 weeks. Stay safe, folks. Peace.